What is up, everybody? Welcome back for another day with the 30-day boot camp. Ready to have you guys learn some more stuff today. And we're going to talk a lot more today. We're going to keep going in on marketing and some really cool strategies today on lead magnets and working those into your email sequences and some pretty cool ways to actually generate new prospects and convert them into clients. So I'm excited that you guys are here. Without wasting your time, I appreciate your evening. And so let's just dive right in, continue on as we were. So we're going to go back in today and start with, once again, lead capture strategies. So, we were talking a little bit yesterday about Instagram and Facebook and cross-posting and things like that. So what about when you're looking to get people to come hit your website up or find you somewhere where you can actually position yourself in a way to provide value to them? And what I mean is, like, you offer them something in exchange for something in return. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today in terms of lead capture strategies. Okay. So let's dive in on that. And it's first really important to understand, everybody, like, you can't deny this, right? We are in an age of information overload. So it's really important that you have to figure out a way to stay memorable. Like, how are you going to be memorable to your prospects? Like, what are you going to do to stand out so when they see your work, you look different than everybody else, right? Information, there's so much information out today, and it's really, really difficult to separate yourself from the pack. So really, you want to be thinking about how do you create a memorable brand and how you stand out from the rest of basically the millions of photographers out there, right? Now look, the average adult attention span is only 8 seconds. Like, when I heard this, I was like, holy crap, this can't be true, right? This can't be right. But it's true. And if you think about it, like, just think about how easily distracted you get as a person, right? Just on a day-to-day between devices, whether you have family, kids, dinner, TV's on, phone calls coming in. I mean, the attention spans are so short nowadays. So we really have to do everything we can to grab our prospects' attention immediately. And thanks, Enoch. I'm glad you're liking it, man. Appreciate it. So let's go into what I call the 3 pillars. I've got 3 basic pillars of marketing, and my keyboard doesn't want to work for me today. Let me just explain to you guys how I break this down. I hope it makes a little more sense to you. I really try to simplify this. So number 1 is visibility. Okay, you must be visible to even have a chance to market to somebody in the first place. Now, that sounds almost silly to say, but it's true. If people don't know you exist, if they can't find you, then they can't book you, right? So they've got to know you exist in the first place. So visibility is the first pillar. Second pillar is value. So you must offer something of value to move the prospect into action. Basically meaning, what are you going to do to attract them to want to work with your business, okay? So you've got to be able to provide something of value to them. And then action. If you guys, from day 1 until the end, day 30, one recurring theme you're going to hear me talk about over and over and over again is action. You've got to take action constantly. So once you've acquired information from the prospect, you really have to take action to stay in front of the prospect. And your action, you're taking action in these moments, is actually what's going to turn them from prospect into client, okay? And I want to share a story with you guys, if my keyboard will work again. And next slide forward. Yes, it's story time, right? So let me tell you guys a little story real quick. Just within the last, the 13th, right? So in the month of May, Jess has had 2 consultations with 2 leads that have both turned into clients, and they were both from multiple, like 2 years ago at least. And both of these clients told her, I've been following you guys for several years, and I knew, I just knew it was time, to do something. I was really ready to move forward. I've been watching, your clients come through. I've been seeing the feedback and the reviews your other clients are leaving, and it inspired them. So guys, here's a really, really strong lesson. When you start marketing, when you start putting yourself out there, sometimes it's immediate, but oftentimes it's not. And what's really important to understand is that if you don't see immediate gratification, that's okay. You got to keep, you have to keep getting in front of people over and over and over again and pounding your brand into their mind. And if you can do that, then you can establish a brand presence with them. Then you can establish, okay, these guys are around, like, they're credible, like, obviously they're still in business. People, people work with them all the time. So obviously they're legit. What you want to do, like your clients need to feel comfortable. They need to feel like they can trust you moving forward with you as a brand. And for some people, that takes several years. Now, what's cool about it is if you do this over the course of like 3, 4, 5 years, you'll start to see that people start flying in all over the place. And so these two particular clients came on a promotion that we ran. And we ran a promotion it was like $199. It was for like Jess's birthday is actually when we ran it. We called it a quarantine sale, right? So we ran this promotion, just basically covered the session fee, right? And so both of these people booked in and they said, I've been following you for a long time. This was such a great deal. I had to jump in on it. Okay. So again, and I'll just caveat this because I know I talk a lot about shoot and burn. So the $199 covers the session, right? They're going to still pay for their images. So there is that. I'm not going to be a hypocrite with you guys about that. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because sometimes this stuff takes a lot of time. And like Jess just said in the comments, it's really true. It really is all about consistency. And if you can be consistent in delivering your message, then you can create great results long term. Okay. So I want to show you guys a strategy. And I'm going to use our website. And hold on one second as I flip over to it. All right, where are we? So I'm going to show you guys a lead capture strategy that we use. It's called a lead magnet. And let me pop this open for you. I've got it queued up. And let's go. So this is our boudoir page. And I'm going to show you guys right now. We go to the page. As soon as we start scrolling, you should see, I think my Siri just thought I was saying something. Siri, cancel. Oh man, technology. So of course this didn't load up for me the way I wanted it to because I had already been testing the site. So hold on, we're going to do this. I'm going to type it in again for you guys. Okay, let's go here. All right. So what happens is as they start to scroll, they should see a pop-up that invites them onto our page. Now, this might be a caching issue while you're not seeing it show up. So I'm going to show you the other one first because I know this one pops up. So when you click on portfolio on our page, like somebody comes over, they want to see our work. Or they want to see our work. What will happen is it'll load the page. And as we start to scroll, you can see down here in the corner, we've got a little guide. And in this guide, we're basically saying, enter your email address below and we're going to send you something in return, right? So we're basically offering to give them a crash course on a boudoir session and kind of give them something of value in order to collect their information. Now, what we're going to do once we have that information is they're going to be added to our email list, and any future campaigns we send out, they're going to actually get those emails. And this is exactly how we just booked those 2 sessions. It's from some sort of value-driven offer that we put out before where we collected information in exchange for something of value, and then we pushed it out. Okay. And the thing is, you got to do it over and over again. So just keep doing it and it's good. I know Jess is laughing at me. Sorry. Yeah, I know. It's like I was talking to you guys and my iPad started Siri came on and thought I was asking her something. Let me see if I go back to the homepage real quick and see if this will load up. What we do. So usually the first time somebody visits our page, it'll pop up like a box on the front to invite them to our email list. It's not doing it here, and it's probably because there's a caching issue with it where I just need to clear the cache or something. But the first time somebody goes and tries it, they'll find it. And if you guys want to try it, go to boldlyluminous.com, and you'll actually see the example will pop up. It'll pop up a little window and say something like asking them to enter their information for us to to keep them in the list for promos and stuff like that. So that's a really cool way to do it. When you drive traffic to your site, you can actually get people to sign up for your list that way. Now I'm going to get off of this real quick and go back to story time over here. All right. And let me show you guys in a sort of a chart sort of layout, the process here. So this is going to use those 3 pillars that we talked about before, and I'm just going to move through piece by piece with you. All right, so visibility, you want to offer value, and then you want to take action. So let's look at it sort of step by step and see how this goes. So what I just showed you as far as the website. So the prospect will visit a website, and then the site's going to pop up an offer to the prospect. So whether it's on the home page, whether it's on a secondary page like your portfolio page or anything like that, you just need to have something in place there that they can, have the opportunity to enter their information. Then the prospect's going to give their contact info for something of value. So here's really the big, like one of the biggest things about this. If you're not going to provide something of value, you can't expect them to give you their information, right? Like they want, like the consumer wants something of value in return. So you've got to be willing to give them what they want, or something that they want, something that's appealing, something that's like compelling enough for them to say, yeah, I'll put my email address in and see what happens. And you guys, if you search the internet for anything at all, I know you've seen this hundreds and hundreds of times where it's like, enter your email address here and get my free ebook on this and that, or like download these tips, put your name and email address in. You're marketing similarly by doing this same thing to your client. And there's nothing wrong with that, because your prospect, and there's nothing wrong with it, because if the prospect wants what you have to offer, then they'll enter their information. And if they don't, they won't. So it's really a win-win either way. So what happens now, you've got their information, the value items delivered, then the contacts added to your list. And so what I mean is, like, if you use like MailChimp or something like that, you put them into whatever your like database is for keeping clients, in order. We use one called Flowdesk. There's a bunch of great ones out there, but you want to add your contact to the list. Now what happens is, as you begin or continue sending out newsletters and emails to clients or prospects, those prospects are actually on that particular list. So let's just say, a month from the day of that person signing up, you've got an email sent out to them that offers them a discounted session fee or something, right? Well, they're going to get that email. So imagine that if you did that 1,000 times to 1,000 different people, but it was automated. You know what I'm saying? So like if you had this set up to where it automatically sends an email out at like day 1, day 14, day 30, like this is what's really cool about collecting information and creating sequences where you can automate it out. Okay, so once they receive your newsletter, they might not book the first time, they might not book ever, but as you keep sending things out to them and keep sending offers, at some point, something's going to stick. And what'll happen is they're going to be exposed to your brand over and over and over again. And the people that it really resonates with, they're actually going to be the ones who show up and they actually purchase what you have to offer. Now, this is really important because this can be duplicated over and over and over again. And it really just breaks down to these 3 pillars. You've got to be visible first, you've got to offer value second, and you've got to be willing to take action. So if you collect leads or collect information and you don't do anything with it, then that's your fault. Like you've got to be willing to put a system in place to then have a way to reach out to people to offer them what you have to offer in the first place. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So one of the things I get asked a lot is like, well, once I've collected this information, what do I do with this information? And the first thing, again, like I just said, email. Like almost every great marketer that you know of or you've heard of has an email sequence that they use to stay in front of their clients. All right, so email is big. Now, social media, if you've got a way, if they've given you a full name or you've got a way to track them on social media, you can friend them, you can invite them to your pages, you can stay relevant in front of them like that too, which I think is a really great thing anyways, because everybody's on social media, as we've already talked about. And then create urgency. So one of the biggest things that calls people into action is a sense of urgency. So if you have an offer that's got like a limited availability, like, hey, only 10 available, or only 5 available, whatever it is, like you guys can come up with your own. But if you have a way to call them into action, then you can start to create some momentum and get them to take action on their end and make a decision, to work with you, to buy and purchase with you. Okay. I'm just noticing that the sun is like blaring through the window up in the little thing up top. I don't normally do these at 6:30, so so it's a little funky. All right, let's keep moving. So I want to give you guys some tips on how to win more clients. And actually, we've got a couple of comments in here. Let's see what we've got real quick. Let's see. With Ashali says, "What if you run low on content? How can you still be consistent?" So here's the thing, Vaishali, you don't need, if you're talking about something like a lead magnet, like you don't need to run or have like 1,000 pieces of content. Like that one lead magnet that I showed you guys is the only boudoir lead magnet that I have. So it's less a matter of having like a ton of content and more a matter of just getting people driven to that content. So driving traffic to it. Does that make sense? So like you don't have to have a bunch of different pieces. Now it's good if you do for other marketing, like other uses, sure. But you don't have to have 1,000 pieces of content, to get people to actually move forward with you. Okay, that's a really great question though. And then Jen, what did Jen say? Jen said, I had someone write me yesterday that she loved getting my newsletter. Today she's booked. Hell yeah, Jen. And just proof that it works, I mean, again, and I know you and I have chatted a lot, but it stays about this specifically, but it just goes back to being consistent. And the more consistent you can be in putting this stuff out, the better, like the higher the likelihood of people moving forward with you, right? I think it's interesting to think that like to us as creatives or artists, it almost feels like to send an email or a newsletter, to do this same stuff over and over and over again feels like so tiring. And you're probably thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna get on these people's nerves. And the truth is that it's not like that, because their exposure to it is like several times, right? You could send 1,000 emails to 1,000 different people and it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you kind of are. But those people, it's their first and second, maybe third exposure to you, and it's still new and fresh to them. So keep that in mind, guys. Great points though, Jen. Congratulations on your booking. All right, so let me give you guys some tips on how to win more clients, right? These are tips that we've put into play and we've learned along the way, and I hope you guys get a lot out of them. The first thing is to always make all of this about your client first, right? Their experience is really what matters the most. If you can really prove that you care about and you love your clients, and that translates into their experience, I'm telling you guys, that's going to go so far for you, because now it's not just about money. It's about creating an experience that's lasting and something that they want to talk about to their friends. One of the biggest things is to be authentic, right? Don't force anything. It's important to remember on the other end of this conversation is a human being. So you need to be human. You have to humanize the experience. Robotic stuff, like people just acting like, hey, it's just about money. It's all transactional. That sucks for a client experience. And just put yourself in their position and think about how you would feel. So of course, I'm not saying you shouldn't get paid. Like obviously there's a monetary exchange, but when you make it more about being authentic and connecting to them and humanizing it, it goes a lot further. And to that point as well, forget about how much money they'll invest and just focus on serving the client first, because their experience, again, when they tell their friends about it, like their friends are going to come in and they're going to be like, yeah, like Jane had an amazing experience. Like I can't wait to have my photos done. Guys, what's really, really clutch about this is that we'll have clients that'll come in and spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 on a session with us. And they'll tell their friends, and the friends that come in that are referrals, they drop it in a drop of a hat. They don't even think about it, because they just expect, right? They expect to pay that price because they already kind of know what it costs. Like the bar's already been set. So this is really important. If you can create that atmosphere for your client, give them a great experience, keep it very much authentic, like you're going to have a great result in the end. And Jess and I, we create a VIP experience with our brand, and from, A to Z, our clients are treated like royalty, and we want them to feel that way. We want them to have that experience. A, because everybody deserves to have that experience and very few people are providing it. But B, just think about how much better that is both for them and for you. Like think about the last time you had an amazing experience and you wanted, you raved about it. Like that's the thing. I don't even know the last time I had an experience that I wanted to rave about myself. So I want to create that for my clients because I know they'll rave about it. They'll feel so good about themselves, and they'll tell their friends, and it'll really create a buzz, around the business, and it'll help your business grow too. So just make sure that you're treating all of your clients with utmost respect, serve the human first, create a VIP experience. Okay. And those are really like the biggest tips. Now guys, look, I know this is a lot to take in, like everything. We've been covering some ground on the bootcamp this week. So if you guys have any questions at all, if you need to know how to set any of this up, if you want to take your business from A to B, or you just need to get to the next level, we've got your back. You can book a free call with us at any point, 7steps6figures.com/apply. We will hop on the phone with you for 30 to 45 minutes. We'll talk through, we'll game plan, we'll strategize. We'll see where your business is and see how we can help you get it to the next level, okay? So just make sure that, as we always say, no matter what you do moving into your business, that you be fearless, you take action, and you live empowered. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We will catch you tomorrow. We're going to continue marketing tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern. I will see you guys then. Have a great night. If you have any more comments, drop them below and we'll get to them. Thank you, guys.